What's up, my friends, my family, my fellow gamers? Your boy Porter Rock 77, and I'm back with another hot take. The hot take is about Sony announcing PlayStation PC, an initiative of the content they're releasing on the PC platform. All right, let's get straight to it. Right, there's a lot of PlayStation gamers that have already they've been said their displeasure at this move of PlayStation putting games on PC, and then there's a growing conversation about potentially Sony eventually going day and date with PC in the same form as what Microsoft has decided with their Xbox brand, putting their games, first party games, day and date along with their console. Multiple reasons why people say that it's good, it's great. And then there's people who says they don't like that concept. Okay, I'm going to explain why I don't like the concept. Right, it's not in line with other people's reason on why they don't like the concept. One, is not about other people being able to play the game. That's not the reason. Number two, it's not about devaluing the brand. The value of the brand is really Sony's concern when it comes to PlayStation. That is also not a reason that I don't like the idea of day and date of PC, right? The ultimate reason why I don't like day and date with PC, and I know I went right into, the get-go, is simply because of ultimately what do I get from the value of buying this box right here, okay? Now let me explain. Take Ubisoft, Electronic Arts, Square Enix, Capcom, all these third-party providers. Are they trying to sell you a console? Have they been trying to sell you a console where you can play their games that they make? The answer is no. They're third-party providers, and they put their games on all platforms. Therefore, there's no such thing as a Ubisoft ecosystem or platform. No one ever used that term, right? No one ever used the term Square Enix ecosystem. No one ever used the term Capcom ecosystem, right? No one ever brought those terms up, right? Because you don't look at it that way. You just looked at it as games that are just on whatever platform, and you just play it on the preferred platform that you like, on the perfect console. But the first party, they have platforms, and their platforms is the console. I'm not buying that BS of Microsoft Xbox platforms is PC cloud. No, they're not. That's just a marketing strategy and corporate dudes trying to convince you on some BS. Case in point, Microsoft just released an exclusive on PC. So if it was all about this ecosystem and Xbox is PC, console, and cloud, then how come the game is not playable on console? Why is it exclusive to just one device? So cut that BS. And I don't want to hear excuses, well, it's always been. No. If Microsoft was all about this, they could have ensured that that game will be playable on console, since it's sharing all devices, right? Cut that BS. There's only one platform for these first-party providers, and that's their console. Period. Everything else is just smoke and mirrors. So back to PlayStation. I go buy this console. They are backed by their first-party provider. My expectation for the money that I provided them, because they're the ones, Sony, PlayStation, is the ones that's convincing me to buy a console. Again, not Ubisoft, not EA, not Capcom, not Square Enix, From Software, none of them. It's PlayStation. Since they're the ones that are providing the console, then your developer's number one focus should be the console. It's their responsibility to bring out their best for that console. And I don't want to hear anything from anybody. You're not going to convince me that developing games across multiple devices is just as easy as a developer only focusing on one device. You're not going to convince me of that. That logic doesn't even make sense. When a developer creates an engine, uses an engine, and all they got to do is worry about that one box, that one platform, you know, that one dev kit, and all the intricacies, taking advantage of whatever that console is capable of doing to its max, to its best capability, okay? That will always trump the developer splitting his time, his resources, you know, its expertise, worrying about multiple architectures, from low specs to higher specs to different capabilities, you know, to different, you know, tool sets that cater to different GPUs and all that stuff, you know. I guarantee if 343 only had to worry about the Xbox Series X and they didn't have to worry about the Xbox Series S, the Xbox One, the Xbox One X, and all the different configurations of PC, if they didn't have to worry about none of that, all they had to do was just worry about Xbox Series X and use their engine to maximize that, Halo Infinite would be a better product, at least graphically and all that stuff. And they probably will have more stuff at launch, like missing core, whatever, probably wouldn't have been an issue. But because they have to juggle all these different architectures, I guarantee they're running into issues. Trying to balance the multiplayer between different architectures, you know, because they can't be the same playing field, right? Because PC, they'll run at higher frame rates. The last gen consoles will run at 30 frame rates, while the current gen consoles, Xbox Series X, they could choose between 60 and 120. It's just a whole conglomeration of just random stuff. PlayStation will be going through the same thing. And that's ultimately, for me, why I'm not playing this, you know, day one bullshit. Because if they did do day one, that means the PC and the console have the same priority. The only difference is Sony's selling the console, but yet they're not prioritizing the console. So for me, if Sony made that decision, that means the console's not their number one priority. And if it's not their number one priority, then why as a consumer should I make it a number one priority? I said before, I would just go PC, and I will, right? There's no reason to buy a PlayStation 6 when all the games are on PC. And I'm going to say this. If Sony doesn't prioritize the console, then why should the consumer? It's their product. If anyone should think of it as the first priority, it's them. Okay? By transitioning over to PC, sure, it's a little bit more expensive, depending the level of hardware that I want to go with. But look at all the stuff I no longer have to worry about. I no longer have to worry about PSN Plus subscriptions. All my third-party games I will buy on Steam. And usually Steam, third-party sales are cheaper. Right? The only thing I have to worry about is just the first-party PlayStation games. And that's it. Don't have to buy no more consoles. Third-party games will be bought on Steam. They're cheaper. Right? Depending on the level of configuration, they will run at better performance than the console. Right? The online's free. It is what it is. I'm not gonna be out here looking like these Xbox fanboys, cause I'm sorry, y'all look. Listen. If y'all don't want to spend the money for PC, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? I understand that. I got it. But don't pretend the console is the Shangri-La, whatever. Microsoft is jerking y'all. Right? Because Microsoft is not prioritizing the console. Sony will be the same way. They will be doing these stupid moves, right? Because they have to consider PC. Then if they try to do the whole cloud thing, oh my God, it'll be even worse. And I will not put up with that. Why do I need to prioritize a product when the company that makes it is not even prioritized? So I don't really care about the devaluing the brand. That doesn't even make sense to me. It's all about what I get as a consumer, right? Console gaming for generations have been the first party provider who makes a console. They do their best to make that console look great, and they do it through the developer talent. As you can see from Microsoft, they're not doing that. Xbox Series X ain't looking that great, you know. With all the talk about power, whatever, it's not looking that great. And the reason why, because Microsoft is not prioritizing the Series X. They have all these devices that they're trying to cater to. So they can't focus on just the Series X, especially after them making the Series S as well. Biggest mistake ever. So bad enough, you know, you're holding developers hand tied to cloud and PC, but now you added the Series S, which is like, what the hell, right? At least Sony was smart enough not to make two different configurations in terms of, you know, CPU, GPU. The all digital and the $500 PS5 is the same. But adding PC to the PlayStation ecosystem, day one, that's going to split developer resources. They have to consider PC, even when they start making games. They're going to have to consider whatever minimum spec PC they want to cater to. Again, if companies don't prioritize their product as number one, then as a consumer, I'm not going to do it either. It's just going to ultimately look at the whole landscape, and I'm just going to pick what's best for me. And for me, day one PlayStation games on PC is the way to go. You will get screwed less because you're going to get jerked if you stay on PlayStation. I got it. You don't want to spend the money. You don't like PC, whatever. The reality is the same shit when you think about it, right? Because ultimately, you're just going to plug in your controller and you're going to play the game on a TV screen. The box is no different than a PC box. There's a GPU, CPU, RAM, motherboard, Ethernet port. It's all the same, right? It's all the same. Okay? Maybe trophies, who knows, that weird shit. All I know is this. Alright? Right now, it looks like, obviously, PlayStation is going to continue to put PlayStation 4 games. That doesn't bother me, right? That's PlayStation 4. I don't even touch my PlayStation 4 no more. That's long gone, right? The games are great. There's no doubt. The games are awesome. So PC gamers are, for example, God of War is fantastic. PC gamers are in for a treat. It is fantastic, right? But God of War was made for the PlayStation 4 to maximize the PlayStation 4, and they did the job. So I got my money's worth out of the PlayStation 4. It wasn't held back. There was no equilibrium. PlayStation 4 is a priority. That is my expectation for the PlayStation 5. That's my expectation for every PlayStation console they make. But the moment Sony doesn't prioritize their console, and they do this equilibrium, this equality of devices across the board, sure, from a business sense, hey, Sony's got to do what they got to do. You know what I'm saying? They got to answer up to their shareholders. It is. That's what business is, right? Capitalism 101. But that does not mean I got to get screwed over in the process. I ain't going to be stuck with a console that you guys, PlayStation, does not prioritize. Again, if it's not the number one priority for you, it's sure as hell not going to be the number one priority for me. And this is it. This is your boy Porter Rock 77. Let me know what you think about this hot take. How do you feel about this whole endeavor? Hit up the comment section. And before you leave, hit the like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 60 frames, no like podcast. I will see you there live, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, every Tuesday. All right? You guys take care. This is your boy Porter Rock 77. Your only friend in these YouTube streets. And I'm out. Peace.